My friend got a vasectomy and is keeping it a secret from his wife. I've known my friend Kevin and his wife Emily since high school, and we have stayed very close. The three of us went to different colleges, but they were all within an hour drive of each other, and we spent a lot of time together. They got together towards the end of our first year and got married soon after graduation. After graduating, we all moved back to the metro area where we grew up, although we live about 45 minutes apart. Still, my wife and I spend a lot of time with them. She and Emily have grown to be very good friends and often hang out together without their husbands. Kevin and I also spend quite a bit of time together without the wives, as I was always closer to him than Emily anyway. Before getting married, Kevin and Emily had some early disagreements about children. Emily was very set on having children, and Kevin wasn't sure that he wanted any. Kevin eventually said that he would think about it, and they didn't really discuss it again until after they got married. Well, maybe we should have discussed that beforehand. Around 5 years ago, Emily gradually started bringing up the fact that she was ready to start trying to get pregnant. Kevin was adamantly against children at that point and told her he wanted to wait until he was at a more stable point in his career. He was still at his first college job, and while he was making good money for someone his age, the job he was in generally isn't long-term. Think of field like consulting, where junior level employees typically have a 2 to 4 year shelf life before they're expected to move on to something else. He told her that he wanted to wait a few years, as the expectation was that she would probably stay at home for a year or two after having the baby. During this ongoing discussion, Kevin confided in me that while the career explanation was true, it wasn't the whole truth. He was still unsure that he actually wanted to have kids at all and wanted to put it off until he was sure what he really wanted to do. He knew it was unfair to Emily not to disclose his feelings on this, but he was worried about her reaction given how adamant she was about having children. After much discussion, Emily agrees to wait until Kevin has a more permanent job. Around 2.5 years ago, that happened. He took a job in-house with one of his long-term clients and ended up with a small pay bump, much better benefits, a more predictable schedule with less travel, and a lot more job security. Almost immediately after he took the new job, Emily brought up getting pregnant and Kevin agreed to start trying. As far as I knew at the time, Kevin agreed and Emily stopped taking birth control. Fast forward to the present, no children yet. Up until this point, as I understand it anyway, their only attempts at conceiving have been to continue their normal activities just without birth control. Since this hasn't worked, Emily has started discussing the possibility of going to a fertility doctor to see if there are any problems. The women on her mother's side of the family have a history of having problems conceiving, although with eventual success. I'm not sure what exactly the issues are, but I know that Emily's grandmother and mother were 29 before they were able to conceive, while both trying since their early 20s. Yesterday, Kevin confided in me that before he left his previous job, he had a vasectomy without telling Emily. After picking my jaw up off the floor, I can feel my anger brewing. I started asking him questions to figure out why the hell he would do that. Apparently, after he began to put out feelers for a new job, that process took about a year, Emily had brought up going ahead and getting pregnant. Kevin pushed back really hard to wait, and she told him that was fine. Evidently, Kevin was really leaning towards not wanting children. I wasn't aware of this since we never really talked about it after the aforementioned conversation. After he got the new job and they started trying to conceive, I just figured he changed his mind and got on board. Shortly after they once agreed to wait, Kevin became suspicious that Emily wasn't taking her birth control. He would check her pill packs, but wasn't able to confirm one way or another if she was taking them regularly or not. According to him, Emily was acting suspiciously, not sure what the specifics were, and was initiating sex much more often than usual. There was something about her periods as well, but I don't remember the reasoning behind that discussion. Evidently, after considering the evidence available to him, he was convinced that she had stopped taking birth control and was trying to get pregnant after they had agreed to wait. He was angry, but didn't want to confront her with evidence that could be explained away easily by her. At this point, I don't know if she was actually taking her birth control or not. He could have been right, or just paranoid. Given his lack of trust in Emily and his increasing desire not to have children, he decided to get a vasectomy and not tell her. There was a point where he was traveling for his job, which happened often, and was going to be a few states away for about a week and a half. He traveled to this city frequently and was somehow able to arrange to get a vasectomy done at that time. The initial trip was supposed to be about 10 days, but a weekend snowstorm caused his flight to be canceled, and his employer ended up needing him to stay another few days anyway. Again, I have no idea how he was able to arrange visits to a urologist and a vasectomy appointment, not to mention all the follow-up visits. I'm also unclear on how long it took him to do this. The timing worked out to where the soreness and swelling was gone by the time he returned from the trip, and according to him, the scar is completely unnoticeable unless you shine a flashlight on the bottom of his balls, thank you for this image, and look closely. So, in the past 3-ish years, she has never suspected anything, I guess. He always had his insurance information sent to his office, had enough spare cash socked away to cover his copay and antibiotics and pain medication, and he changed insurance when he took his new job, so there aren't any records laying around or in an online account. He really went through the ropes to deceive his wife. A gentleman.
You are quite the gentleman.
So that was all well and good for a few years, but now he's in a tight spot because if Emily goes to the fertility doctor and things check out on her end, the next logical step is to get him tested, at which point it will be obvious to the doctor that he had a vasectomy. He gambled on the fact that Emily's family has had a history of problems conceiving, so maybe there would be issues to place the blame on. He has no idea what to do, but guesses that he can stretch this out a year or two before he has to get tested. It's driving me. I can just feel the anger that's gonna come from everybody from this story. All I'm picturing is a woman who is so wanting children with the love of her life, and every month or whatever that they're trying, she thinks like, I'm off birth control, I'm trying, and she goes through those emotions and those feelings, and she sees that pregnancy test say no every time. Meanwhile, you're sitting there knowing it's going to say no. It's sick. It's cruel.
It's diabolical.
It's honestly, I don't even want kids, and that is cruel. I am really struggling with this. On the one hand, Kevin is my best friend. On the other hand, he is being totally deceitful to Emily, one of my closest friends. I'm not judging him for not wanting kids, but this is something he should have communicated to her before now. Yeah. You think? You knew she wanted kids before you even got married to her, and she was dead set.
What do you mean?
If he had talked to me about the situation before he got the vasectomy, I would have told him that he needed to break things off with her and move on if he wasn't sure he wanted kids. It would not be fair to him, and it wouldn't be fair to him if they did end up having children by accident or design when he didn't want to. But that's not what happened. He has been lying to her for years. I can't tell my wife about this because I have no doubt that she will call Emily and tell her immediately. I'm trying to decide whether I should tell Emily, tell Kevin that he has to tell Emily, or I will, or completely stay out of the situation. I feel bad about the entire situation, and I don't want to break up their marriage or destroy one or more friendships, but I also don't want Emily to waste any more of her time when having kids is such a big deal to her. What the hell do I do? Edit number 1. Thanks for the advice. I think I have decided on a course of action. I am meeting up with Kevin for drinks in an hour or so. I'm going to give him an ultimatum. Either he tells Emily within 3 days, or I will. I'm also going to tell my wife after my meeting with Kevin because I can't keep something like this from her and live with myself. I will try to get her to sit on that information for as long as possible, but if she tells Emily, then I can't fault her for doing what is probably the right thing. I'm going to tell Kevin that I am telling my wife as soon as I get home from meeting with him, and impress upon him the strong possibility that she will tell Emily before he has a chance. This will give him an incentive to tell her sooner rather than later. I will probably ask my wife to let me be there when she tells Emily if she decides that she won't wait. That way we can both be there for support, and I might have a chance of staying friends with her after this is all over. Yeah, this sucks for you as well, because he's putting your relationship with Emily and your wife and the whole, foursome y'all got going on, a friendship, he's like putting you in a very bad position as well, because she deserves to know, but he's your friend. Kevin sucks. Kevin sucks. Edit number 2, just left from talking with Kevin. I took the exact approach outlined in my first edit, and it went as well as you could hope. He was understanding and apologized for putting me in the situation. He understood my need to tell my wife and said that he wished he had taken that approach to his own marriage. Oh, really? He realizes that he needs to tell Emily and that the marriage is likely over. After some reflection, he thinks this is probably for the best because she will never trust him again, and he really doesn't want kids, which he knew the whole time. He's going to sit down and talk with her tomorrow afternoon. Edit 2.5. Thanks for updating in real time. Just finished talking with my wife. Holy F. I will have one hell of an update soon. I don't have time to write it out right now because I need to go to sleep. I'm pretty drained from all this. I will update this sometime tomorrow. Okay, thanks. He says, basically stay tuned. If you like drama, just effing wait. Well, I better shut my mouth and hurry up and read. Edit 3. So a lot has happened since last night. Holy hell. First off, Emily isn't pregnant, as far as anyone knows, so sorry if you were hoping for that. I will try to write what happened chronologically so it makes more sense. Here we go. So I told my wife everything last night after I got home from meeting with Kevin. As you might expect, she was absolutely floored that he would do this to her, given how much she wants kids. She didn't take it as bad as I thought she would though, which was weird at the time. I really thought her reaction was going to be to say that we need to tell Emily immediately, drive over to their house in a blinding rage. Instead, she told me that she had something to tell me that she had been keeping a secret for a long time. I have no idea what this could be. Evidently, a little over a year ago, Emily and my wife were discussing Kevin and Emily's attempts at conceiving. It wasn't unusual for them to talk about this since at that point they had been trying for over a year. On this night though, Emily had quite a bit to drink and opened up to my wife more than usual. Emily was desperate to start going to a fertility doctor, but Kevin wanted to wait because they hadn't been trying for very long. Unless I misunderstood him, Kevin seemed to imply that Emily had only recently started suggesting going to a fertility doctor. Nope. She has been telling him she wanted to go for over a year. My wife asked her why she wanted to go so soon since they hadn't been trying that long. Emily told her that she had been trying for nearly 4 years. What the F? The following explanation of this pieced together from my conversation with my wife and what Kevin told me and my own inferences. I've tried as best as I can to fit the pieces together in a way that makes sense. I will update and edit if I find out that any of these details aren't correct. But Emily stopped taking her birth control while Kevin was still at his old job, so his suspicions were right. Before he ever started looking for a new one, she pretended to take her pills, hoping she would get pregnant and she could blame it on the fact that birth control isn't 100% effective. Side note, my wife was absolutely floored by this revelation and does not condone her behavior, but continued listening to try and support her friend through what has been a very difficult experience. She stopped taking her pills around 6 months before Kevin started looking for a job. This is the same time at which she started pressuring Kevin to move on from that job. I guess it took 6 months to convince him to finally start that process. So Kevin agrees that it's time to leave his job, starts talking with headhunters, gently approaching his current clients. They have the above mentioned talk about going ahead and trying to conceive. Kevin says no, she agrees to wait. The reason she brought it up that particular day is that she thought she might already be pregnant, given that her period was late and she had been trying for 6 months without him knowing. A couple days later, Emily got a pack of pregnancy tests and 3 positive results later, she's pregnant. What? She's excited as hell, but wants to wait a bit to tell Kevin, given that they just had agreed to wait to have kids until he got a new job. Oh, so she was just as deceitful. And here I was really on Kevin. I mean, I stand by what I said. My wife thinks that Emily was probably around 2 to 3 weeks pregnant at this point. About a week and a half later, Kevin is out of state for work and Emily is planning to spring the news on him when he gets back. He is gone from Sunday night and is supposed to return late on Friday. On Monday night, Emily has a miscarriage. Evidently, this is one of the common mishaps that the women in her family are prone to. My wife told me that Emily's mother had at least 3 before successfully carrying her first pregnancy to term. Emily is absolutely devastated. She doesn't tell Kevin about it because then he'll realize that she hasn't been taking her birth control and crap will hit the fan. She calls my wife, who goes over to her house to comfort her. Note, my wife does not know about the miscarriage at this point, just that Emily was really upset over something. Emily only told her the truth a year ago. I actually think I remember the night that this happened because it was unusual for my wife to drive all the way to Kevin and Emily's house to hang out with her. Usually they met somewhere in the middle. So Emily is obviously upset about this, but manages to get herself together by the time Kevin gets back. She doesn't say anything about it, but immediately starts trying to conceive again. My guess is that this would be the time where Kevin becomes suspicious about her behavior. He was right that she wasn't taking her birth control, but he only realized it after she had a miscarriage and tried even harder to get pregnant again. As far as anyone knows, Emily never got pregnant again between this time and when Kevin had the vasectomy. During a routine visit, Emily asked her OBGYN if there were any problems and told her about the miscarriage. This happened before Kevin started to look for a new job, and they officially agreed to start trying to conceive. I don't know if Emily told her that she had stopped taking her birth control or if she implied that it was accidental. The OBGYN identified something with her uterus that could possibly cause an issue, but said that she couldn't be sure from a routine exam. She suggested that Emily see a fertility specialist and then gave her a referral. Evidently, the specialist wanted to do the first consultation with both Kevin and Emily there, so Emily couldn't start the process until Kevin was on board with conceiving. So that's the state of things. Emily was lying to Kevin about being on birth control for at least 1.5 years. My wife never told me because she wasn't sure what to do. Since they had officially started trying to have children by the time Emily told her about all this, my wife decided to keep the information to herself because it really didn't matter at that point anyway. I called Kevin and told him about this late last night. He wasn't as upset as I thought he would be because he already figured that Emily had stopped taking her birth control back then, although it was actually 6 months before he caught on. He was pretty upset about the miscarriage and felt really bad that Emily had to keep this to herself all of these years. As of right now, he hasn't talked to her yet. That will happen later this afternoon or tonight. I may post an update after he talks to her tonight. In all likelihood though, I'll wait a week or so and post an update after all of this has died down. Hopefully then they have decided what they are going to do. I have no idea where this goes from here. You can't come back from that. Y'all gotta go your own ways. At this point, your marriage has just been full of lies about very serious things. We do have the update, obviously, but we need a sip of water or something stronger at this point. I don't even care. Cheers, hope you're having a good day.
Lila went to the groomers this weekend. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to show them how cute your little bandana is. My groomer gives all the dogs a cutie little bandana at the end of every session. Oh, you got an eye chunky. Look how cute. It's a bunch of little fruit. Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet.
All right, so the update came 2 days later, a lot sooner than I expected, to be honest. Well, Reddit, the situation has resolved itself. Kevin and Emily talked for a long time yesterday, and they have agreed that it's best for them to split up. Too much damage was done and the lies they told each other were too big, not to mention the kids' issue. I wasn't there obviously, but I talked to both of them and they seem better than I expected. Both of them are really angry, but as much is directed to themselves as each other. Strangely enough, they were both really glad for my involvement. Emily wasn't even pissed at my wife for telling me about the birth control fiasco. I have no idea whether my wife and I will be able to remain friends with either of them. I hope so. They were both really deceitful to each other. Oh, true. They were both really deceitful to each other and to us, but I think I'm willing to move past that eventually. We'll see how this goes. I don't think I would have approached this situation correctly were it not for some of the responses I got here. Reddit. Saving relationships one day at a time.
Or completely ruining them.
We are going straight to the comment section. I want to see what other people are saying about this because my mind is blown by the deceit from both of them. Someone said, sounds like this is for the best. I guess once everything plays out, you will see whether your friendships with each of them can and should endure or not. It's hard to watch people you care about hurt each other on such a level like that too. Next person said, bummer, they were made for each other, to be honest. I feel like that's sarcasm, as in like they're both liars, you know? OP responded to that and said, it is kind of hilarious in a meta sense. I never would have thought either of them would do anything like this, but they both did. Yeah, it was a double whammy. I was totally Team Emily the whole way, and then it was like, oh, but she did the same thing, but in a different way. Y'all were doing it at the same time. Next comment, considering all the deceit, everyone was surprisingly level-headed in all of this. OP responded and said, like I said, I wasn't there when they had the conversation between each other. They could have been putting on a better face for my wife and I. That's true. It could have been an absolute crap show when the truth came out between them, but I agree. I think this was very tame for such an insane situation. Really, I feel like I freaked out and reacted larger than they did. Let me know your thoughts on this one, you guys. Stay classy out there, stay sassy. I will see you tomorrow.